That's all right now, mama, just any way you do, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, mama, any way you do. I didn't, mama, she done told me, Papa done told me too. Son, that gal you fooling with, she ain't no good for you. Well, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, mama, any way you do. Yeah. I had a feeling this masquerade was over. It was a good place to hide. I'm leaving town, baby, I'm leaving town for sure. And you won't be bothered with me hanging around your door. Well, that's all right, that's all right, that's all right now, mama, any way you do. I ought to mind my papa, guess I'm not too smart. If I was, I'd leave you before you break my heart. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, mama, any way you do. That's all right now, mama, any way you do. By 1968, I couldn't sing into a camera anymore. I realized I needed to be in front of an audience to feel alive. It was time to prove I was still the king of rock and roll. I felt like I was coming back from the Army, all over again. Actually, I had to remember how to perform. So I went to see Tom Jones to study his stage moves that he'd gotten from me. Then I did the '68 television special. That felt fantastic. And I recorded In the Ghetto and Suspicious Minds. I had to get back where the audience is and get away from home. Scylla was controlling my personal life. She'd even try to order my boys around. She'd say, "Get me a Coke," and they'd say, "Go get it your own damn self." The Colonel was controlling my business. And Daddy didn't want me spending my own money. He was trying to keep me from any fun there was to have. So I opened in Las Vegas. But after a few shows, I realized I was still not happy. I mean, America was under siege, man. Protests, drugs, bombs, hippies, violence. It was bad, man.
The social unrest gripping the United States in the late '60s, how did that affect you?
I was so fearful for our country. The hippie elements were destroying America.
Turn on, tune in, drop out.
The whole dropout thing was crazy. Do whatever you want to, get everybody to take drugs. And the Beatles and John Lennon, they were in on it.
You don't need all that education. You don't need to get your whatever it is, exams that you're going to finish. What for?
And the hippies were pushing LSD on the youth, even as young as 10.
You're introduced to LSD, a religious experience, and it can be even more important than reading the Bible 6 times.
Teenagers were dropping out of school and overdosing on drugs, dropping dead.
and violent groups were trying to overthrow the United States. Turning America communist? Crime and violence was everywhere. The America I loved was coming apart for the first time. I was worried it might not be there when Lisa Marie got big.
A bomb exploded early this morning in the Pentagon.
Guard your planes, guard your colleges, guard your banks, guard your children, guard your doors.
Credit for the Capitol bombing was claimed in a letter received by the Associated Press today, signed by the Weather Underground.
We will build a revolutionary youth movement capable of actively engaging in the war against the imperialists.
What did you make of the Students for Democratic Society, which became the Weathermen?
The Weathermen underground terrorists took their name from the Dylan song. They were violent thugs. They were led by Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn.
I'm not committed to nonviolence in any way.
A bomb went off at the State Department early today, and the Weather Underground claims responsibility.
First they started riots, then they tried to start a communist revolution. And they idolized killers like Charles Manson and Sirhan Sirhan. Even the Black Panthers couldn't stand the Weathermen.
The Weathermen is nothing but child's play, it's folly, and they call it revolution. We think these people may be sincere, but they're misguided, they're muddleheads, and they're scatterbrains.
The Underground plans to kill Ford, Rockefeller, Attorney General Levy, and FBI Director Kelly, and to blow up some buildings.
Captain Marvel Jr. had fought and defeated Captain Nazi. And Bill Ayers looked exactly like him. So I gave Bill Ayers the nickname of Captain Nazi. It made sense. They both wanted to destroy America.
Did you support civil rights?
I believed in it. I grew up with black folks. I had a tremendous kinship with them. I listened to Martin Luther King's speeches over and over. He was so inspirational. But the Black Panthers were violent.
Now, Leonard Bernstein said, Elvis introduced the beat to everything. The music, the language, the clothes, a whole social revolution. The 60s comes from it. So, in a way, were you not responsible for the youth culture, for unleashing all of it?
I think with my music, I tapped into a spirit of personal freedom. But that just as easily could have been used for the positive, not destroying anything. Peter the Apostle said to use liberty, not for maliciousness, but to serve the Lord.
You had a lifelong romance with law and order. Why did this run so deep? And exactly when did you become involved in federal law enforcement?
I always had a fascination with guns and law, even as a child. Of course, I'd served the U.S. Army, and I was a deputy in the Memphis Police Department in many jurisdictions. I donated to police charities and I had friends in law enforcement everywhere. They were under siege, man. They were targets.
Bomb went off in New York City police headquarters.
We no longer simply resist the pigs. We have gone on the offensive.
In about early 1970, the Weathermen bombed a San Francisco police station and killed a sergeant who I knew.
The device was filled with heavy 1-inch staples. The staple pierced the skull of one policeman. He is in critical condition. In San Francisco, Police Sergeant Brian McDonald died today.
The Associated Press has received a letter signed Weathermen claiming the radical group planted the bomb because, quote, the pigs in this country are our enemies.
We will escalate our attacks until imperialism is defeated. We will escalate our attacks.
I knew I couldn't go on just singing. If I did, I would be an accessory, pacifying my audience with music while the bad guys destroyed our country. And I realized the Weathermen did not consider me as a part of the establishment. I felt I could help America if I became a federal drug enforcement agent.
Now, you were the original cool, with the look, the clothes, the attitude, the swagger, Are you saying the man who invented cool wanted to become a narc?
That's right. I felt God wanted to use me in a much more important way. You know, my family had lived in public housing at the Lauderdale courts in Memphis. Now I wanted to give back to my country that had done so much for me.
When I was a child, ladies and gentlemen, I was a dreamer. I read comic books and I was the hero of the comic book.
I had always dreamed of being an American hero, like Captain Marvel Jr., who comes in and saves the day. Captain Marvel Jr., he had this fantastic dual image, a normal, everyday guy with a secret identity as a crime fighter. You know, I played a hero in all of my movies. Now, I wanted to be one in real life. If I could help save America, maybe this was my real destiny that God had prepared me for all this time.